Well, good morning, everyone. Um, Please make yourself comfortable. We have nice music playing in the background. We'll give it another minute or so. People are calling in, and so I want to make sure that we give enough time for everyone to kind of settle in. So please relax, and we'll go ahead and start the webinar in about 1 to 2 minutes. And also, please feel free to write down any questions in regards to EnFin and Q.HOME core battery system in the Q&A box. I believe the icon is on the bottom. And continue to just feed in your questions, and we'll be able to answer those questions at the end of our presentations. Please note that we are recording this webinar, and at the end of the sessions, we'll be sending out the presentation to all the participants after we completed the webinar. And also, we do have a quick 10-second post survey. So if you take your time to fill those out, we would really appreciate it. Thank you. We'll give it another minute, another 30 seconds before we begin our webinar. All right, why don't we get started? So if you go to the next slide. Well, good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you who have joined this exciting webinar. We genuinely appreciate your valuable time, and we are thrilled to have you here. My name is Brian Kim. I'm the Director of Channel Marketing at Qcells, and today we have some exceptional products to share with you, EnFin loan products and the Q.HOME core battery system. Before we dive into the details, let me introduce our presenters who will guide you through the remarkable offerings. First, we have Ken, Business Development Manager at EnFin. Ken, would you like to say a few words to the audience?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brian. My name is Ken Fauché. I am one of the business development managers here at EnFin. I work with all of our existing partner installers and new potential partner installers. Really excited to be here today talking about our loan offerings. Prior to joining EnFin, I was actually on the install side of the industry, working for a large regional installer on the sales and marketing side of the business. So very familiar with the challenges there, and looking forward to discussing EnFin and how we're able to meet those with you.
Great, thank you, Ken. And we'll be hearing more from him shortly. And we also have Cam, the Director of Engineering, overseeing the Q.HOME core battery system. Cam, would you like to say a couple words to the audience?
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. Thank you. Good morning to everyone, and good afternoon. It's exciting to be on the call here with my team members. Qcells, you know us well as far as being a module company, but we're doing some exciting things in other areas, expanding the portfolio, if you will. And I manage the residential energy storage solution. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we get into the specifics of EnFin and our battery products, let's take a quick look at Qcells through a company snapshot. As you can see on the slide, we are the market leader in both the U.S. residential and commercial segments. We are very proud of this achievement. This speaks volumes about the trust we've earned and our strong presence in the industry. Qcells has consistently been the market leader for the past 5 years. Qcells is also a Tier 1 solar manufacturer backed up by our parent company, Hanwha Group, a Fortune Global 500 company and a Korea's 7th largest conglomerate. This means that reliability, financial stability, and strength are deeply ingrained in our DNA. Furthermore, what truly sets Qcells apart is our relentless pursuit of innovation, cutting-edge technology, and unwavering commitment to quality. And with a history spanning over 2 decades, this dedication has allowed us to achieve and maintain our market leadership. Next slide, please. Here is a quick snapshot of our parent company, Hanwha Group. Hanwha Group is one of the top conglomerate companies in Korea, often mentioned in the same breath as Samsung and the Hyundai Group, with close to 200 billion in total assets. Qcells obviously benefits from this association and financial strength and stability. And moreover, Qcells is fully committed to U.S. manufacturing and supply chain here in the United States. We committed to investing $2.5 billion in factory expansion this year. We are delighted to share that we completed our Dalton factory expansion in Georgia last month. With the completion, we produced an impressive 5.1 gigawatt of modules per year. By the end of 2024, we'll have a new factory in Carterville, Georgia, with the capacity of 8.4 gigawatt, making Qcells the largest producer of modules in North America. As you can see at Qcells, we're not just here for the short term. We're making a profound commitment to long-term investments in the United States. We are using our full weight of our scale, innovation, and financial strength to offer you a comprehensive solution, a true Qcells experience. We're not just providing panels or battery system. We're offering a holistic suite of solutions that encompass panels, battery systems, loans, VPP, and SRACs. And of course, our aim is to deliver exceptional value to you, and doing so, unlock the incredible synergies that come with it. And picture this: better loan terms that ease financial burden for your customers, and a better warranty performance that speaks volume about the trust we have in our products. And these are the building blocks of compelling and competitive business strategy that will resonate with your customers and setting you and Qcells apart from the rest. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass that on to Ken. Ken?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that background on Qcells, Brian. That's really great. And it's a great segue into the EnFin story. As Hanwha and Qcells were making and have been making these significant investments in the solar supply chain here in the US, they're also looking for ways to deepen their relationship with the market and continue to support the installer community. The finance space really emerged as a ripe opportunity there, and that's how EnFin was born. So today, EnFin exists with the mission to empower residential solar installers to grow by enabling homeowners to take control of home energy costs with affordable financing options. So we do this by leveraging best-in-class technology and processes to make the experience seamless, very seamless. And it's important to note here that we are the first solar financing option that is backed by an industry-leading manufacturer. And there are many reasons why this is important. Next slide, please. So the first reason here is that the support we get from our parent company makes EnFin an extremely stable partner in this space. I think so many of us have seen the volatility in the finance space over the last 12 to 18 months. And so with that, having a very stable, trustworthy partner is hugely, hugely important. So the Hanwha Group, as our parent company, is able to leverage that $180 billion, almost $200 billion in global assets into capital markets. This gets them cheaper access to capital, which we hope in turn leads to more competitive rates for all of our partners. Secondly, with Qcells as our sister company, we really lean on the brand equity that they've built over many years. Qcells has built a reputation for high quality, long-lasting, bankable equipment. This makes them really a long-term partner to the install community on the equipment side of the business. Likewise, EnFin is being built the exact same way in the finance side of the business. We've been fully in market since February, but we have been approaching our growth very intentionally, and we want to partner with installers that we can grow with together. Very important in terms of the dynamic of that relationship. And then finally, because Qcells is our sister company, we have the ability to create some really amazing synergies when you use EnFin financing with Qcells products on the same project. And we'll get into those details here in just a minute. But that is really the high level in terms of the value of this relationship. Next slide, please. So in terms of our loan program, some high level features of it are that we offer a standard 18-month reduced payment loan product followed by a regular amortizing term. In terms of loan amounts, we go up to $125,000 per project. And then we have loan terms anywhere from 10, 15, 20, 25, even 30-year loan term options. At that 30-year level is where you're going to see the first synergy with the Qcells equipment business. When you use Qcells panels and EnFin financing on the same project, that's what unlocks those 30-year loan options. Not only do you get a 30-year loan option when using both together, but you also get the benefit of an extended 30-year performance warranty on those Qcells panels. And so for any homeowner looking to optimize for that lower monthly payment, and we know that there's so many homeowners that are out there experiencing a lot of bill pain on a month-to-month basis, this is an incredibly attractive option, and we see a lot of popularity for these products within our network. At the same time, if you are using any of our other loan term options, anywhere from 10 to 25 years, and you're using Qcells on the same project, you still get the benefit of that extended 30-year performance warranty. So a lot of value that we're able to wrap in there. From a credit perspective, we qualify down to 600 FICO, and then we have a lot of flexibility when it comes to having co-applicants on our platform. So a little bit different than some. We don't use household income in applications. If there's going to be more than one income factored into an application, both individuals do have to be on that application. That said, we do have additional flexibility in that we use the higher of the two FICO scores of those two individuals, and at least one of the borrowers has to be on the title. And that doesn't have to be the same person. From an experience perspective, when working on our platform, you're going to get a determination within 30 seconds. That's really a best-in-class figure, and I know our tech team is very proud of that, and they want to lower that even further. I know they would do it in 20 seconds if they could, but we know that getting that type of response and that responsive experience is very important, especially when you're selling in-home with homeowners. You want to be able to get that information in your hands as quickly as possible to be able to guide them through the selling process. Next slide, please. In terms of project requirements, all of EnFin's loans have to be used to finance a residential solar energy project. That said, we do have a lot of flexibility there. Up to 25% of the total loan amount can be used for energy efficiency add-ons or other non-solar adders. We have a lot of partners that do different types of work, from energy efficiency, HVAC, all sorts of types of home improvement. We can incorporate up to 25% of the total loan amount for those types of adders. Additionally, we have some very flexible price per watt caps depending on the scope of the project. Whether you're talking about a solar-only project, a solar with battery project, ground mount systems, solar and re-roofing, we allow a lot of flexibility for all those different types of projects within our platform. From a property perspective, our main qualification is that residences have to be permanently affixed to the ground. About the only thing that we're not going to qualify is if we see a mobile home on wheels. But as long as it's permanently affixed to the ground, we're happy to work with that property. This includes townhomes, as long as the resident owns the roof and the unit is separately metered. And this also includes second homes, investment properties, vacation homes. If somebody owns an Airbnb, things of that nature, we're happy to work with those types of properties as well. This also includes LLCs. We will work with LLCs as well, as long as they are on the title of the home. Additional features and requirements include that the first loan payment is generally due 60 days after installation is complete. And then we also allow for loan transfers as well, as long as the transferee qualifies for credit. Next slide, please. In terms of our milestone process, we worked really hard to make it a very simplified and streamlined process. So we have 3 milestones that are involved in our process. The first milestone, M1, is going to be the uploaded and approved home improvement contract. Milestone 2 is going to be install complete, substantial completion at the home. And then milestone 3 is going to be PTO verification. In terms of milestone 2 approval, it's a very simple submission process. We do not have a lengthy or onerous photo submission or documentation. At that point, we actually only require 4 photos for that approval. Those photos are the address of the home. Secondly, it's going to be a photo of the system in such a way that we can see all of the panels and count the modules. The third photo is going to be a workmanship photo, just showing a clean and clear workspace, free of debris, footprints, anything of that nature. And then the fourth photo is going to be the nameplate on the back of a single module. That's how we're able to verify if Qcells is used on the project. From a credit perspective, we do a soft credit check at the time of initial approval, and then we do a hard pull at the time of milestone 2 approval. In terms of disbursements, we do 100% disbursement at M2, and you get paid via ACH within 2 business days after that milestone 2 approval. And then finally, all of our install partners get the benefit of a dedicated partner advisor. This is somebody who is US-based on our team that works with you on a one-to-one basis for all of the day-to-day needs of working on the EnFin platform. This is things like questions about our portal, questions about specific user accounts, specific homeowner applications, disbursements, change orders, all of those types of things. You will have a dedicated member of our team there for you one-on-one for clean, consistent, and customized service each and every day. And so, these are really the tenets of the loan program that we built right now. There are all sorts of wonderful additional synergies and promotions that we are going to continue to roll out with our Qcells counterparts. We're very, very excited about that. And then we have some additional products that we're very excited for on the horizon too. Coming in 2024, we are actually going to expand beyond our loan program to release a TPO product. We know there is a lot of demand out there. We're seeing a lot of interest for that. There are plenty of installers out there that are seeing a lot more TPO work coming their way because of the market that we're in. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to meet the market where it is, meet the challenges that our partners are facing, and help grow together. So very excited to intro EnFin here. I think we've got a lot of wonderful things to offer, and I'll be happy to discuss in more detail. If you have any questions, please drop them into the chat, and then also happy to connect after the webinar today. So thank you very much. Really appreciate the opportunity to discuss EnFin, and really looking forward more to hear about all of the wonderful things that the Q.HOME team is doing as well.
Great, thank you, Ken, and really excited about the TPO leasing products, and wonderful to see that we're using our synergy to offer you 30-year loans and 30-year production warranty performance. Please use your Q&A icon to submit your questions. I see a couple of questions already popping up there. Continue to send in your questions. And Cam, please take it away.
Great, yeah. Brian, thank you. And again, thank you, Ken, for that great introduction to our finance program. It's exciting that, this financial package can be used to finance not only PV modules, but our energy storage system that we're going to take a quick introduction on here. Again, this is a high-level introduction. We have a lot of different kinds of technical information for you. But residential energy storage, or ESS, if you will, it's something that we're hearing everywhere, right? When we set out, Qcells, we said earlier, you know us as a module company. Our ambition is to transform and become a complete energy solutions provider. And what does that mean? That means, everything from the way sunlight hits the panel and then goes through the power conversion, goes into the storage components, and then gets utilized, gets managed. And, that complete ecosystem is available from Qcells, not only in the residential segment, but we also work on the utility scale and the C&I space. So that's where Qcells is going. Today, we'll take a look at the residential solution. We wanted to offer a system that was going to have a complete end-to-end set of components. That means modules, inverters, batteries, the hub, and as Ken just outlined, financing, and obviously customer support. All of that is key. We wanted to offer something that is going to be scalable. You could have a small home or a small system grow it to a very large system, no matter where you are in the country. But it could be just PV, or you could do grid support, or you could do the full backup by picking and choosing the building blocks that you need so that it tailors most applications in most of the country. We wanted to make it really simple, easy to understand, to learn. There's a lot of products out there. Every time you take on a product, you got to learn it. This is the easiest to learn. It's step-by-step process. The installation is simple. It's modular. It goes together like Lego blocks, plug and play, if you will. And the commissioning is turning out to be the real benefit here. Very simple commissioning in 20 to 30 minutes. We wanted to make it look good. Homeowners are asking for something that doesn't look like a big refrigerator in the garage. And so this particular package with both the inverter and the battery is a single cabinet. This modular and very, very sleek looking. We think you're going to like it. Safety and reliability. I mean, that's a given. We have to have, for Qcells to offer this solution, it has to be safe. It has to be reliable. And the safety, it means, how do you install it? How heavy is it? How do you lift it? How does the installer integrate it? As also to the battery chemistry, is this a safe chemistry? The answer is yes. Safety and reliability, the system's gone through very rigorous qualification process, in our factories, in our labs, out in the field, in hot and cold climates before being launched into the market. So a very rigorous process that was extremely, we learned a few things, we went back, made things, better, and now it's something that's available nationwide. And last but not least, we have application engineers throughout the country that are there to connect with installers right at the beginning of the process when you're thinking about a project, helping you design it, review your single line diagrams, take it all the way through installer training, installation, and commissioning. And so that's the solution from Qcells. And let's go to the next slide to take a look at the components. These components are what integrate together to build a system, right? These are like bricks. You build the bricks one by one, you build your home, right? So the same thing here. You can do a lot, PV modules, MLPE, for rapid shutdown, or if you want to use optimizers, that will also work. We have the inverter shown up on the top. We call it the Q Vault, and there's a battery right beneath it showing a couple of modules that are plugged in called a Q Save. And then what is the backup interface or the hub is shown up on the right, and that's what brings it all together. We have two flavors of the inverter, a 3.8 and a 7.6 kilowatt, and each battery module is rated at 5 kilowatt hours, and we need a minimum of 2 battery modules. So your battery tower could be from 10 kilowatt hours to 15 to 20. And then 4 of these can parallel into a single hub. So that talks about the flexibility, right? You could go with a small system, either 3.8 or 7.6 kilowatt inverter with a 10 kilowatt hour battery, or you could grow it to 80 kilowatt hours by having 4 systems like this. Slide, please. So just at a high level, this is a picture on the right-hand side. Where the Qcells logo is shown, that block is the actual hybrid inverter, directional hybrid inverter. It's what takes the power from the modules, sends it to the battery, or from the battery to your load, your home, or to the grid, or from the grid to the battery. So all of that power flow is basically managed by this hybrid inverter. And then the battery modules underneath, we just talked about. There's a battery management system. That's the brains. And all of that is contained in the left-hand tower. You can imagine this being in a garage, indoors or outdoors. It could be wall-mounted, as this is shown, or floor-mounted. So a lot of flexibility there. It's rated for outdoor or indoor mounting, as I said, and there's just tremendous amount of flexibility. This system can be used for new configurations where nobody has even solar. So you could actually install the Qcell panels with the inverter, the hub, what we just looked at, which we call DC coupled, or it could be AC coupled to an existing PV site. And we'll take a look at some diagrams where maybe there's PV there already with optimizers or microinverters, whatever it is, you've got PV generating AC, but no battery. In that scenario, you could install this by adding this particular tower, the inverter battery in the hub, and that would be adding a battery to your existing PV system. Next. This will show you how easily it goes together. The video clip there showing you a base with the first battery module, and then there'll be a couple of additional battery modules plugging in. The structure is actually mounted to the wall and secured to the wall, but it is essentially plugging into each other with no wires until you get to the last module, which has 3 wires going up to the inverter, the plus, the minus, and a ground. That's how simple this is. You know, I've seen it installed. I've installed it myself. We've seen installers install it, and the feedback has been just amazing. They love it. They like it because it's simple to install, and it takes you know, very little in terms of tooling and training. And as I said earlier, you could install this in a couple of hours in a real home. They really go together like building blocks. Each battery module has a handle. You lift it up and you just put it in place. Next slide, please. And just to summarize again, you know, well, what does this mean to you as an installer or a homeowner? You know, that one solution means, you know, one warranty, one contact, one phone number to call, you know, for support, right? So you just make one call and we got the complete system. I mean, there's some benefit in that. You don't have to plug and play with different components. And now bringing in the financing, you know, that's just the icing on the cake, right? So one call, one warranty, one system. It's all been tested, proven, and deployed. I mentioned the flexibility about, you know, AC or DC coupled for, you know, retrofit sites or new, you know, mounted anywhere, basically. Simple to install, looks good, and the safety aspect, you know, the battery, we did the UL 9540A test report, which is a special test for thermal runaway. Basically, we go into a lab, we try to ignite the battery, you know, punch holes in it, break it, try to make it catch fire. None of that happened. It's designed in a very safe way, and this certification test report basically supports that. So you know you can go to sleep knowing this system is safe, no issue. Again, outstanding customer service. That's important to us for you to have that great Qcells experience. And it's something where we learn as well. You know, we're excited about engaging our application engineers with your team so that we can learn what you're doing and make sure we're doing a great job for you. Next slide, please. This is a little deeper look at the inverter again. As I said earlier, you know, 2 inverter flavors. It's a NEMA 4X enclosure that's weatherproof, rainproof, dustproof, that allows you to put it in or outside, indoors or outside. The DC oversizing is 200%. So you can put 15.2 kilowatts DC on a 7.6 kilowatt inverter. That inverter has 3 MPPTs. So one way to manage shade mitigation or different angles on a roof is to basically just put, you know, each string on a separate MPPT. And, you know, simple way to keep it simple, if you will. And then if you want, you know, you'll need a RSD, rapid shutdown, which we provide. The inverter has built-in rapid shutdown transmitter. And so, or if you wanted to, you know, had some special case where you needed optimizers, we have a solution for that that's paired with this system, tested and deployed. Let's see, there's no monitor on here, no display. So that's where your smartphone or your handheld device comes in. You walk up to the inverter, connect to the local Wi-Fi, scan the barcode, You know, you update the firmware, you create the settings and the operating mode, and off you go. I mean, all the safety standards you need for North America, and that's the solution. Next slide, please. This is where we take a look at the battery modules, and there's a picture on the bottom there showing a little module with two handles. The middle section is a connector. That connector is a floating connector. It moves. So that allows, with the guides on the corners, it allows you to really plug one into another without having to deal with any wiring, any kind of hardware, if you will, and so simple to install. 5 kilowatt hours per module, and then 2 minimum required to build a system. There's a battery management system in the middle between the batteries and the inverter, and that's the brains of this system. And we'll go to the next slide. You know, in terms of applications, the simple way to look at this is a simple diagram here. It's showing the inverter, the battery, the hub. You've got PV modules going into the hybrid inverter. And, you know, everything between the inverter and battery is self-contained. And you got the AC output of the hub. It could either go to your main panel or your sub panel, but that's what brings it all together. It's such a simple system. And next slide, we'll look at 2 different applications. We talked a little bit about DC coupled, meaning that your PV modules are tying into the inverter and the battery. It's a complete system. And then on the right-hand side, the lower portion is an existing PV site. And this diagram actually shows microinverters. So you see PV modules on the bottom with microinverters and a combiner. That's the existing PV site that might be on a rooftop somewhere. You could walk in and sell our battery inverter system and have it AC coupled. In other words, the common point of coupling is an AC connection. So basically, the battery, which you know is a DC battery, it's got the inverter portion that generates AC and brings it into the hub, and the hub ties in the existing PV, depending on the application. And our application engineers are, you know, well-versed to review your single line diagrams and help you to refine this. This is a simple diagram. You know, there's circuit breakers and other things that might be needed, and will help you design your system. Next slide, please. Now, depending if you're doing a partial or a whole home backup, it's the same components, the same approach, but it has to do with where you tie in your backup panel or your main panel. And on a larger system, you know, you may need multiple battery cabinets. So this is showing one, but that left-hand diagram, you could see input number 2, 3, and 4 that are not connected in the hub there. So up to 4 systems, taking it all the way to 80 kilowatt hours, and 4 times 7.6, which is about 30 kilowatts of power. Next slide, please. You know, in California, as you know, NEM 3.0 came in, and we took advantage of that to break out the system, if you will. So, you know, what we previously were used to is having a backup system. It was all in one. You had the inverter battery, the hub, everybody used it, right? But now we've been able to optimize the cost by breaking it into 3 sections. You know, if somebody wanted PV only, you could take just the inverter, which is a little block shown on the left there with the Qcells logo. And then if you wanted to participate in NEM 3.0 to take advantage of the import-export energy benefits, the financial package, you know, you would, based on time of use rates, you would basically add a battery. And then you could, you know, in that scenario, basically export when the utility is paying you more and import when the energy is cheap. So this allows you to do a lower cost grid support, you know, under NEM 3.0. But if you want backup, that's where you add the hub. And so, you know, the hub, you're spending a little more money, but you're getting complete backup and grid support. So these things add on to each other, right? So, but it's a kind of a menu-based solution, and you pay for what you need. And that's our approach there. Slide, please. We'll look at each one of these configurations real quick here. The solar, or what we call PV only, if you will, is just showing the inverter. And that inverter needs an external meter and a CT. We call it the CT meter. So we ship out a kit, which is basically the inverter and a CT meter kit. You wire it up and you're good to go. So that's solar only. And then next slide will show you actually a detailed application note, which we call a design guide. And it's usually about 8 to 10 pages that walks through do's and don'ts, single line diagrams, how to configure this system and make it PV only. A bill of material on the right-hand side showing you how simple it is. And if you go to the next slide, we'll show you grid support. Notice here what we've done. It all looks the same, but we've added the batteries on the bottom there. There's 3 battery modules and the BMS there, but everything else is the same. And we go to the next slide and show a similar bill of material on the right with an application note. This time it's for grid support. And again, walking through the do's and don'ts of how to get this system operating efficiently and quickly and save you time. And again, this is an introduction, but we'd like for you to call our application engineers. They will get on a call, come work with you. When you're ready to install, they'll be out there to help train with the installation and the commissioning. But we're trying to provide you all the information to make this really simple process for you. Next slide, please. And this is where now we've added, the hub. In the middle, we've added the hub. We already had the inverter and the battery, but now we're adding the hub. And this gives you backup. And same approach here. And notice in this case, we've removed the external CT meter because that meter is sitting inside the hub. We have a revenue grade meter inside the hub. That's where the automatic transfer switch is, and that does its smarts to isolate the home from the grid when there's a power outage, and then flow the power from the battery to your loads. Next slide will show you, again, a bill of material. You get the idea. We have the BOM, and then we have a design guide. So the same approach, depending on what you're doing, we'll provide the detailed technical documents to you. Next slide, please. Customer support, we cannot say enough about it. It's where the system has been designed to be so simple, easy to install and commission, and easy to learn. Now, what we've done to go beyond that is to create a whole set of documents. If you go to our website, you'll be able to get to the resource guide, which will walk you through to different types of documents, whether you're doing design work, or whether you're doing installation and commissioning, or whether you're looking at how to use this for long term, right? So that's kind of the approach we've taken, is to create different content depending on where you are in the process. And we have email access, a phone number. We'll pick up the call and we'll talk to you if you need help. And also we'd love to get your feedback on your experience so we can continue to learn. And we appreciate that. We also have a training program for the installers. We wanted to make sure that we're conveying all the little, details that we can to help you to be successful. So there's a real short, simple installer training course, and that comes with a certificate. You'll be proud to put this certificate on your wall, and it'll show the customers that you've actually gone through the basic training needed to be successful with this product. And again, we welcome you guys to log on to that qcellspartner.us and then go through that course. Next slide, please. This is, we talked a little bit about the resource guide and the different documentation, the upper QR code. And if you have a phone now, try taking that picture and it'll take you to our website where we have the documentation. And then the process is real simple, but that website will take you to the content that'll help you understand the simple process we have. The lower QR code is quite interesting. It's an application we've leveraged by Built, B-I-L-T, and it's a 3D interactive step-by-step process, kind of short clips of videos walking you through everything from basic installation to wiring, the interconnections, and then the commissioning process. And you can also send us some feedback after you're done. So we love that. The feedback so far from installers has been, that's what they're using when they're up on a roof or, mounting something on the side of a wall. They typically use this app, move forward or backward to the step they're in, and then just get those instructions right there. It kind of, nobody wants to read a 100-page manual these days, but this little video clip, step by step, allows you to go exactly where you want to go. If you're hooking up the the AC inputs, to the hub, there you can go right there. If you're connecting a communication cable, you can go right there. And so make it very efficient. Next slide, please. And this is a little clip showing you, what the user interface is like, the monitoring portal. It's got different web pages if you're a homeowner or an installer. And then we have access to even more data for diagnostics and, helping customers. So that's different layers, different passwords. You guys are used to that. And then the different types of things you can do is, not only set the operating mode, but also do some diagnostics and take a look at the energy flow and see where the energy is going and coming. And if there's an issue, you'll get an alert. And we'll go through a much deeper level of training on this particular topic. There's also a desktop version of this, and you can be anywhere in the world to connect to your system. So when you're on vacation, you can, again, see what's happening back home. Slide, please. And everything we've done is to make it a step-by-step, typically around 5 steps. If you're installing it, commissioning it, or you're learning about it, this is an example showing you how to walk up to the inverter, scan the barcode, and then create that site inside the installer account. So step-by-step process everywhere. You just scan the barcode, and that will help you to populate and check the firmware, upload it if needed, and then you move that site into the monitoring portal. And I think this may wrap it up. Maybe there's another slide here with some contact information. That's kind of a high-level summary of this platform. Again, the takeaway is that it's a complete system solution of power conversion, power storage, and management tied in with PV modules and financing now. And it's from one brand, one partner, one warranty. Make it really simple for you with tremendous flexibility. You can do so many things with this, right, in all parts of the country. And it's fully supported by Qcells. And we'll make sure that you're completely satisfied. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Cam. If you go to, as you can see in the slide, there's a contact information. There's a link to the EnFin applications. We are providing contact information to our Cam and as well as our sales contact information. And it's worth noting that our unwavering long-term commitment to the U.S. Market. And as Cam mentioned, one company, one guarantor. We are offering a suite of different comprehensive solutions, longer EnFin terms, better warranty, and excellent battery system. With that, please submit your Q&As on your icon. And we have a number of questions. And why don't we start with the EnFin, Q.HOME Core, and then we'll move on to EnFin products. So in regards to Q.HOME Core, what is the typical time frame for the Q.HOME Core installation and commissioning time?
Great question. Again, this is the answer to this is really nice because the installation is real simple. It takes, what we've seen is about 2 to 3 hours for a 20 kilowatt-hour system. That's an inverter, a battery management system module, 4 batteries with 1 hub. That typically takes, if you're not in a hurry, it's going to take you about 3 hours, you know, if it's the first time you're doing it. And we've seen installers do it faster than that after they've gone through the training. And again, if there's other things you're doing, like, you know, parallel systems, you're rewiring your home, that's separate. But this particular system, you can install it in a couple of hours, commission it in less than 30 minutes. And so basically, that's the process, and that's the feedback we've been getting. And you know, when we launched the product, we had a pilot program, and we had our application engineers go out to job sites and kind of record the time, you know, measure the feedback, the timing and the feedback, and that helped us to really refine this and make it really simple. And yeah, hopefully that answers.
Great, thank you so much. You know, I personally had the Q.HOME core installed in my home, and I can tell you that the installation was quite short. I would say about 3 hours or so. Commissioning was about half an hour, and it was and you know, in NEM 3.0. It's important that we you guys install the projects, multiple projects in one day. The second question is, what type of FAE support is available in California?
It's a great question, and I just wanted to also take a look at the screen we're seeing here. On the bottom left, it says customer support, and we have an email address, pti-ess@qcells.com. Now that email is shared amongst the application engineers. So we have 8 application engineers in the country, and 2 of them are in California, 1 in the north and 1 in Southern Cal. And so these application engineers will, when they get an email coming in there, they'll contact the customer and basically you know, support the customer as needed in terms of what we call pre-sales. So this is everything from understanding the product, the components, how to design a system, you know, depending on the different applications there might be, and then you know, how to review single line diagrams, provide any feedback, and just do a final check, if you will. And then take that through to any kind of installer training that might be needed. That installer training could be done virtually on the web, or it could be done in person, and then go through the installation and commissioning process, you know, before somebody gets to the job site, so that they're completely prepared. And also go through any introduction or training they might need regarding the monitoring portal, which, you know, again, the entire interface to this thing is through your phone, right? I'm holding up my phone here. But so they'll go right from the beginning to the end. And then once the system is operating, it's commissioned, then this transfers over to our customer support team, which is, you know, after sales support. There are technical folks that can answer any questions and pull in apps engineers if they need. But we can do pretty much anything, whatever the customer needs.
Great. There are different ways to reach out to FAEs via email or phone number, or even you can contact our sales person, and our FAEs will come out and help you. The next question is, will the solar keep running with the battery on DC and AC coupled applications?
So the answer is yes and yes. On a DC coupled system, this is where you've got PV modules going into this particular inverter, right? As a DC input for PV and a DC input for batteries, which is self-contained, and an AC output. Power is flowing in different directions, right? It always comes from the panel or the grid to the battery or to the home. So during that time, so long as you have sunlight, you're always producing energy. The question is, where does it go? That's your choice. Depending on the operating mode, you could, you know, charge the battery, feed the load. And the beauty of a DC coupled system is, if you put 15.2 kilowatts DC on the roof and you have a 7.6 kilowatt inverter, AC, you might ask, well, what happens to the rest of that energy? Well, that's where you could be charging the battery in addition to, you know, powering the home. You know, so any excess energy in a DC coupled system will go directly into the battery through this mechanism. If you have an AC coupled system, this is where there's an existing PV it probably is not Qcells, it might be something else, but it's got AC inverter with some PV modules. In that scenario, when you install our system, you're installing an inverter and a battery, but no more modules. In that scenario, it's kind of a somewhat independent system. So we just see it as another AC coming in. So that existing PV inverter will help charge the battery. So it'll continue producing again, so long as it's sunlight there, right? And so that'll continue doing that. But if that doesn't answer clearly the question, please reach out to us at this email or our sales team, and we'll make sure that one of the application engineers can understand the question better and address it. But I think I've addressed it.
Great. We also have a number of questions for EnFin. These questions are for Ken. Ken, the first question is, can you share your latest rate card?
Thanks for that question. Really appreciate it. I can't share the rate card here on this webinar, but I'm happy if you apply through our application link that you see on the screen here. That will come to us, and we're happy to set up a discovery call so that we can learn a little bit more about your specific organization, how we can best fit your needs, and then I'll be able to share that information at that time. Our team is ready and able to have those conversations. We want to learn more, about your organization, about the community of installers here in California. So I would encourage everyone to do that.
Great. The next question is, you mentioned launching TPO products. Can you let us know when will that product be available and when will it launch?
Absolutely. So we don't have a hard launch date yet, but we do anticipate it will be next year in 2024. Right now, tentatively speaking, we're looking somewhere in probably by April or so, towards the end of Q1, perhaps the beginning of Q2. Obviously, as it is still in development, that could change, but right now that is the estimated timeline.
Okay, good. We're really looking forward to TPO products in this highly elevated interest rate environment. I think the product will fit quite well. The third question is, do you make milestone payments to the contractor?
We do 100% disbursement at milestone 2. So we do a single disbursement at that second milestone, which is install complete at the home. So substantial completion on site. That is when we do our 100% disbursement. And that's what is required at that time are the 4 photos, just those 4 photos that I had mentioned earlier in the process. So it's not an extensive or onerous submission process, very simple. All you do is drag and drop them into a box on our portal within the project, and then you get an approval within 48 hours after that. So we do make it very easy and simple to not only submit, but to get those disbursements done expeditiously.
Okay, good. That's a good question. The next question is there a penalty for early payments to principal?
There is not. So there is no early payment penalty to our loans. So if somebody is interested in paying that off early, they are absolutely happy to do that.
Okay, well, that's great. That's good to know. And the final question is, I am interested in EnFin, and how do I sign up for EnFin loan products?
Again, we do have the application link here that is on the screen here. I would encourage everyone to do that. That goes directly to myself and our team. It doesn't go into, a black hole, if you will. It goes directly to us, and we're able to, learn a little bit more at a high level about your organization from that application. And then we'll submit it, then we'll schedule a discovery call with you so that we can kind of go into more detail about the program and how it will fit within your operation. So I would encourage everyone to go to that application link.
Great. That concludes all the Q&A sessions. Again, in the slide, there is a sales contact information. Brett Origa covers Northern California, and that there is his contact email and cell phone number. And in Southern California, Brandon Dooley covers that region, and please reach out to them and set up an appointment, and we'll be able to help you out there. So that with that concludes our webinar. We'll give you about 5 minutes back. And at the end of the webinar, we'll go ahead and send all the presentation out there. Please take about 20 seconds to fill out your survey questions. Again, thank you so much for your time. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
everyone.